comfortable ride that looks like I just came from, year 2045.
Imagine a car collection so futuristic, so custom, that even the most elite auto designers would do a double take. Now, take that vision, but think more insanely, because we're diving into the mind of Will.I.Am, the music and tech genius who doesn't just buy cars, but reimagines them. From jaw-dropping sci-fi aesthetics to engineering feats that defy convention, here's a deep dive inside Will.I.Am's insane car collection. The last one is gonna blow your mind. Number 1. Lexus NX 200T F Sport. This right here isn't just any Lexus NX 200T F Sport. This is Will.I.Am's version. Completely tricked out, customized, and dripping in style. Lexus teamed up with the Black Eyed Peas frontman to create something totally unique.
Will.I.Am tricked out version of the NX. We made it wider, we made it bolder.
Now wait a minute, before we go any further, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button, because we're about to go crazy on this and the next video. Alright, let's get into it. The first thing you'll notice is its subtle but sleek matte pearl white paint job. But don't let the class fool you. The wide body kit gives this ride a muscular stance, making it look more aggressive than your standard NX. It's got black tinted windows and those wheels are massive. We're talking 22-inch matte black alloys that sit perfectly in those widened wheel wells. To top it off, it's got bright orange brake calipers. It doesn't stop at the exterior. Step inside and the interior is pure luxury with a personal touch. Will.I.Am personally chose soft Nappa leather for the seats, each one hand embroidered with his Willpower logo. The monochrome color scheme keeps it classy, while brushed aluminum floor mats add a modern edge. This car has some serious innovation baked in. 4 180-degree cameras are built into the bodywork, allowing for panoramic photographs and video while driving. You can send the footage straight to your phone via Bluetooth. If that wasn't enough, there's even a wireless charging tray in the center console, so you can keep your phone juiced up without annoying cables cluttering the place. Under the hood, this NX is rocking a 2-liter turbocharged inline-4 engine, pushing out 235 horsepower and 258 pound-feet of torque. Paired with a 6-speed automatic transmission, it sprints from 0 to 60 in about 7 seconds, topping out at 124 miles per hour. Sure, it's not a supercar, but for a luxury compact crossover, it holds its own. Will.I.Am debuted this one-of-a-kind Lexus at the 2014 Paris Fashion Week, and let's just say, it turned heads. He called it super fresh.
Someone would think that, what does a car have to do with fashion?
And honestly, he's not wrong. 1958 Chevy Corvette. Called the Vet.I.Am or just Will Vet, this 1958 Chevy Corvette is like nothing else on the road. Will.I.Am took an already classic piece of American muscle and turned it into something that looks straight out of a sci-fi movie. West Coast Customs, the same crew from Pimp My Ride, were the masterminds behind this build.
The West Coast Custom team, thank you so much. This is the freshest, coolest, dopest thing on the road.
And they didn't just restore it, they reinvented it. This Corvette is finished in a jaw-dropping bright red with silver accents, giving it that retro futuristic vibe. The body is completely reworked with a hand-fabricated front end. The wheels are Colorado Customs white wall rims wrapped in Continental tires. It's old school meets new school in the best way possible. But it's not just the exterior that got a makeover. Inside, the Vet is basically a C6 Corvette in disguise. That means modern day luxury in a 1958 shell. Leather wrapped everything, a sleek monochrome color scheme, and the real showstopper is a massive touchscreen right in the center console. This isn't some tiny infotainment system. We're talking a full-blown high-tech control center, probably with enough features to make the car feel like a spaceship. Oh, and let's not forget the sound system. Will.I.Am made sure this car wasn't just about the visuals. The boom boom pow inside this ride is unreal, thanks to a custom sound system built specifically for him. If you ever see this car in person, don't be surprised if you feel the bass in your chest before you even hear the music. West Coast Customs even featured this build on their reality TV show. Founder Ryan Friedlinghaus called it one of the best cars we've ever done. That's saying something, considering they've worked on rides for some of the biggest celebrities in the world. Will.I.Am couldn't have been more excited about bringing his dream car to life. At one point in time, this was an idea in my head, he said. I did the rendering on my Photoshop. It's amazing how with dedication, putting the right team together, you can take an idea and turn it into a reality. Number 3. Tesla Model S. When Will.I.Am decided to go electric, he wasn't about to drive around in some stock Tesla Model S like the rest of the world. Nope, that would be way too ordinary. Instead, he went all in on customization, turning an already futuristic electric car into something that looks like it was ripped straight out of a sci-fi movie, or even an old school Need for Speed game. First off, the wide body kit on this thing is absolutely massive. We're talking about an extra 6 inches of width on each side, making the Model S look way more aggressive than its factory counterpart. The front end is completely redone. The headlights and hood remain untouched, but everything else is brand new. The car sports a massive black grille-like structure that gives it a sort of smiling expression. There's an oversized front lip with another thinner spoiler-like lip underneath it. Moving on to the sides, things get even wilder. The doors now feature suicide hinges, a touch that instantly elevates the Model S from sleek to straight up dramatic. A huge cutout in the wide body kit is filled with a glossy black insert, adding even more depth to the already extreme design. The wheels are deep dish rimless alloy designs finished in glossy black. Surprisingly low-key considering the rest of the car's styling, but hey, maybe Will.I.Am wanted at least one thing to be understated. From the back, this thing doesn't even look like a Tesla anymore. The only giveaway is the curved rear glass. The taillights have been completely replaced with solid red units that resemble the top half of the letter E, giving it an entirely new identity. The wide body kit extends all the way to the back, meeting a rear fin that seamlessly integrates with the new design. Then there's the rear venting, the kind you'd expect to see on a rear-engined supercar.
Most people hot rod the obvious car. I'm like, yo, let's hot rod a fucking Tesla, my dude.
Yeah.
So in my head,
There's even a lower rear spoiler built right into the body kit. Tesla purists might hate it, but you have to admit, this is one of the wildest looking Model S builds out there. As for the interior, nobody knows. The windows are so heavily tinted that even sunlight can't break through. But knowing Will.I.Am, there's probably some insane level of customization happening inside. Maybe gold-plated buttons, a futuristic spaceship-style dash? Who knows? But until he decides to show it off, all we can do is speculate. Under the hood, the electric powertrain remains intact. This is still a dual-motor Model S, pushing out 670 horsepower, hitting 0 to 60 in just 3.1 seconds, and topping out at 155 miles per hour. There might be some hidden tweaks to the drivetrain, but unless Will.I.Am spills the details, we're left guessing. Either way, this build is all about the looks, and whether you love it or hate it, you can't deny it turns heads. Number 4. Tesla Roadster. Will.I.Am's first-gen Tesla Roadster, dubbed the Rocket, is the automotive equivalent of a science experiment gone incredibly right. Built by West Coast Customs, it started life as a standard Tesla Roadster, but quickly transformed into something that looks more like a futuristic hypercar than any early 2000s electric sports car. The first thing you'll notice? Every single body panel has been replaced with custom-made carbon fiber. The entire exterior is stripped away and rebuilt from the ground up using lightweight, high-strength carbon fiber panels. The result is a Tesla Roadster that looks nothing like the Lotus Elise-based car it started as. The aggressive new design makes it clear that the Rocket isn't just another Tesla, it's an entirely new beast. The glass panels are completely custom. Standard Tesla Roadster glass just wouldn't cut it, so a bespoke set was created to match the new bodywork. The interior is also redone from scratch, designed specifically to match Will.I.Am's vision. Performance-wise, the single electric motor remains, pushing out 228 horsepower and 273 pound-feet of torque. Now that might not sound like much compared to modern EVs, but back in the day, this was serious power. The Roadster rockets from 0 to 60 in just 3.7 seconds and tops out at 125 miles per hour. Not exactly Bugatti levels of speed, but keep in mind, this thing is built more for style and exclusivity than outright performance. Let's talk about those doors, because they're straight up wild. No boring, regular opening doors here. Inside, the Rocket features some of the craziest, most unconventional doors you'll ever see on a Tesla. We're talking something out of a concept car, the kind of thing you'd expect to see in a sci-fi movie, not in a real-world vehicle. It's one of those modifications that makes you do a double take and ask, wait, what am I even looking at? Will.I.Am clearly has a deep appreciation for Tesla as a brand. He's gone on record saying that Tesla belongs right up there with the exotics, Lamborghini, Ferrari, McLaren. While some people might argue against that, you can't deny that Tesla has changed the game. Will.I.Am's take? He sees Tesla as a disruptor, just like he is in the music world. Sure, Tesla didn't offer the level of customization he wanted, but instead of settling for stock, he made it his own. That's the mindset of someone who refuses to blend in. Whether it's cars, music, or fashion, Will.I.Am doesn't do anything ordinary. Number 5. 2022 Mercedes-AMG GT. Will.I.Am's 2022 Mercedes-AMG GT is a one-of-a-kind, in-your-face, jaw-dropping creation, and it's got Will.I.Am's name written all over it. The guy didn't just want another high-performance luxury ride, he wanted art with a purpose. This beast is called the Will.I.AMG and was built in collaboration with West Coast Customs. This is the 6th time Will.I.Am has tapped them for a custom job, and this time they took things to a whole new level. The first thing that hits you? The body. Started as a 4-door AMG GT, but that wasn't enough. Will.I.Am wanted a 2-door coupe, so they reworked the entire structure. Now, the doors are massive and open suicide style, meaning they're hinged at the back. Imagine pulling up to the grocery store, swinging those monsters open, and realize you just blocked the entire parking lot. Practical? Not at all. Cool? Absolutely. Then there's the front end. If you squint, you might mistake it for a G-Wagon, squared off, aggressive, and in your face. Nobody is confusing this for a standard AMG GT, and that's exactly the point. Where you'd normally see the Mercedes-Benz emblem, there's now a bear, an indicator to the Bear Witness apparel line that ties into his philanthropic work. Even the grille is custom, making this thing look like it belongs in a sci-fi movie rather than on regular roads. Under the hood, Mercedes-AMG hasn't spilled all the details, but let's be real. The AMG GT 4-door coupe already comes packed with a twin-turbocharged 4-liter V8, pushing out anywhere from 577 to 720 horsepower, depending on the trim. No matter what they did under there, this thing can move. But it's more than just a wild-looking car. The whole project serves a bigger purpose. Supporting the Flip Innovation for Purpose, an initiative helping underprivileged students get into science, technology, engineering, arts, and math. Instead of auctioning off the car to fund robotics programs, Mercedes stepped in and bought it outright, sending the proceeds to fund dozens of robotic programs in disadvantaged communities. If that wasn't enough, there's a whole 6-part documentary covering the build. It's called Drive, and it premiered at the Cannes Film Festival in 2022. Number 6. Will took one of the most iconic 80s rides and turned it into something completely unrecognizable. Meet the DeLorean. We're talking about full transformation, to the point where the only original parts left are the door hinges. West Coast Customs went off with this one. First up, the body. They widened it by a whole 8 inches. That alone makes it look like an entirely different beast. Then they added 20-inch multi-fin wheels to give it an even more aggressive stance. The headlights? Completely redesigned. The front fascia? Reworked with some seriously sharp canard-like additions that make it look like it's slicing through air even when it's parked. The rear has just one huge single-piece LED brake light stretching across the entire back end. Talk about futuristic. Inside, Will wanted a mix of retro and modern, so he went with wooden doors, leather upholstery, and stainless steel trim. He also had an iPad installed in the dashboard because back in 2012, this was a mind-blowing idea. Under the hood, the original DeLorean engine was, let's be honest, a bit of a joke. Will.I.Am swapped it out for something with actual power. A GM LS3 E-Rod V8. That means 6.2 liters of American muscle cranking out 430 horsepower and 425 pound-feet of torque. That's a serious upgrade over the original gutless V6, making this thing not just a showpiece, but a legit performance vehicle. Of course, when you take a beloved classic and radically modify it, opinions fly. The internet had a lot to say about this one. Some loved it, others, not so much. Comments ranged from "that is a DeLorean" to "why did you have to slaughter a DeLorean for this?" Then came the weird drama. First, Will.I.Am went on Jay Leno's show and claimed he built the car from scratch using Chrysler parts. Strange, considering West Coast Customs had documented the whole transformation, starting with a legit DeLorean DMC-12. Then things got even messier. He got the car impounded for driving it without plates or a VIN number. Whoops. As if that wasn't enough, he later accused someone of stealing it on social media, before realizing he had actually given it to a valet. Yeah, not his best moment. But the story doesn't end there. After all that drama, Will.I.Am apparently just gave it away. Turns out fellow musician J Balvin was a huge fan of the car and was even planning to build a replica. Will.I.Am, probably tired of the whole ordeal, just handed over the keys. Imagine spending $700,000 on a custom ride only to give it away like an old pair of sneakers. That's next level flexing. Number 7. 1958 Custom Volkswagen Beetle. The 1958 Custom Volkswagen Beetle ain't your granddaddy's Volkswagen Beetle. This is a monster, a Frankenstein of metal and horsepower that barely resembles the bug it once was. Will.I.Am took a 1958 Volkswagen Beetle and threw out the rulebook. Now, it's got a supercharged LS3 V8 stuffed under the hood, suicide doors, and a front grille so massive it could swallow lesser cars whole. The price tag is an estimated jaw-dropping $900,000. It all started in 2009 when Will took his Beetle to Austin Weiss at the garage in Florida. Originally, this thing was supposed to be a sleek SoCal speedster with a twin-turbo Porsche Flat 6 mounted in the back. But 6 weeks in, Will decided that wasn't wild enough. He wanted something futuristic, something front-engined. So the madness began. One day, Will wanted no fenders. Next, he wanted fenders inspired by classic Morgans. A Bentley-style grille? Throw it on. Suicide doors? Absolutely. The only thing left from the original Beetle? The cowl. Everything else? Custom. Every few weeks, a new inspiration hit, and the project kept shifting. What was supposed to take a year and a half kept stretching longer and longer. Forget the puny engine Volkswagen originally gave this car. Will's beast packs GM's 6.2-liter supercharged LSA V8, cranking out a blistering 556 horsepower and 551 pound-feet of torque. This thing's got muscle car power shoved into a body that started life as a humble people's car. A 6-speed automatic transmission sends all that power forward, turning this bug into an absolute rocket. Will poured money into this thing like it was a bottomless pit. By the time it left Austin Weiss' shop, he had already dropped $400,000 into it. But it still wasn't done. 6 weeks before the 2011 Super Bowl, Will decided he wanted it on stage with him during the Black Eyed Peas halftime show. That was a problem, since the car was nowhere near finished. Austin needed at least 6 more months. Will wasn't having it, so he called West Coast Customs, who told Will they could wrap it up in 6 weeks for another $100,000. Will packed up the car, sent it to West Coast Customs, and threw more money at the problem. 6 weeks turned into 12, then into months, then into years. By the time the car was done, it had spent 2 years at West Coast Customs. Will kept changing his mind, tweaking details, and reworking the interior. First it had Willwood brakes, then they were swapped out for something else. The interior was redone more than once. Even now, after all those years, it doesn't seem truly finished. Will's car is basically his creative process in physical form. He sees something he likes, then changes his mind, then tweaks it for years. The result? A car that is impossible to recognize. Is it a hot rod? A luxury cruiser? A futuristic concept? Who knows? But one thing's for sure, this is one of the most insane custom cars ever built, and at $900,000, it's one of the most expensive too. That's it for Will.I.Am's insanely unique all-custom car collection. Which one blew your mind the most? Let us know in the comments. If you love this deep dive into his custom rides, don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring that bell for more jaw-dropping car content.